Today's lesson is picnic party planning. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kiki. Roger, let's go for a picnic party.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I like to be in the great outdoors and have a meal out there. Having a picnic is one thing, but having a picnic party is another, where you have a lot of people getting together to enjoy food in the great outdoors on a nice summer day. Of course, right now it's April, but still the weather is getting better, and it's time that we consider having picnics.
Well, if we are having a picnic party, we're going to need to do some planning, okay? So maybe we're going to have a picnic when the weather gets warmer, so we're going to have a party, and we need to plan it out. We need to figure out how many people are coming, what kinds of food we're going to serve, and how we're going to seat everybody.
Exactly. Where we're going to go, what kind of equipment we need, and as you said, what kind of food we're going to bring. So that's what we're talking about today. We've got a conversation between Lana and Max. They're sitting on the balcony of their apartment, and they are enjoying some sunshine, and they have some inspiration for having a picnic party. So let's find out what they talk about. Let's listen now to part one, a perfect time for a picnic.
Picnic party planning. A perfect time for a picnic. Lana and Max are sitting on the balcony of their apartment enjoying some sunshine.
Hasn't the weather been great lately? It was so nice on Sunday that I went for a stroll in the Riverside Park.
That sounds lovely. Were there lots of people there?
Yes, quite a few were out having picnics, riding bicycles, and so forth.
That makes sense. Spring is the perfect time for outdoor activities like that.
Indeed. It was nice to see families out enjoying themselves together.
Well, speaking of picnics, how about we plan one ourselves? We could make a day of it.
That's a fabulous idea. It'd be a great way to take advantage of this splendid weather. When were you thinking?
How about this Saturday? The forecast says the weather should be great then too.
I'm in. We can grab some food, drinks, and a cozy picnic blanket and head to the park.
Great! I'm looking forward to it already.
大家好，第一部分首先介绍单字 stroll。这个名词的意思是散步或是闲逛。例如 Stacy likes to soak up the sun by taking a stroll along the beach. Stacy 喜欢每天早上沿着海滩散步来沐浴在阳光下。或者 After dinner, my parents often go for a stroll in the park. 在吃完晚餐后，我的父母经常去公园散步。接下来是形容词 fabulous， 它指的是极好的或是非常棒的。例如 After a long day of exploring, we found a fabulous little cafe to relax in. 经过一整天的探索，我们找到了一家很棒的小咖啡馆来放松。接着看到单字 splendid，这个形容词指的是极佳的、绝妙的、非常好的或是壮丽的。举例来说 That sounds like a splendid opportunity, and I think you should take advantage of it. 那听起来是一个绝佳的机会，我认为你应该好好利用它。又或者说 If you have free time this afternoon, you can visit the splendid park over by the river. 如果你今天下午有时间的话，可以去河边那个美丽的公园看看。下一个是 cozy，这个形容词表示温暖舒适的或是温馨的。可以说 On winter mornings, all I want to do is stay curled up in my warm, cozy bed. 在冬天的早晨，我只想蜷缩在我温暖舒适的床上。也可以说 That bed and breakfast has a cozy atmosphere thanks to its decorations. 那间民宿的装潢营造出温馨的氛围。
Okay, so we know that Lana and Max, they're sitting on their balcony and they are enjoying some sunshine. I'm sure that is a very nice feeling, which would make you want to have a picnic. So let's see what Lana says. Lana says, hasn't the weather been great lately? It was so nice on Sunday that I went for a stroll in the Riverside Park. So Lana is saying that lately the weather has been very nice. It's not too cold and not too hot. So it was so nice on Sunday that she went for a stroll. When you go for a stroll, you're going out for a walk, but you're not going anywhere in particular. You just want to enjoy the scenery or enjoy the path that you're walking on. And it's just a relaxing walk. You're very chill. You might be humming or whistling a song. And she was strolling along the Riverside Park.
And Max says, that sounds lovely. That sounds like a wonderful thing to do. And he's got an actual question here. Were there lots of people there? Did you see lots of people going for a stroll in the Riverside Park?
Lana replies, yes, quite a few were out having picnics, riding bicycles, and so forth. So we know that the weather has been great, so people want to get out and do things. So people were out having picnics and riding bicycles and so forth. So forth might be other types of outdoor activities, maybe throwing a frisbee around, playing with their dog. And of course, we know that a picnic is basically when we bring our food and drinks out and eat it, let's say in an outdoor area with a little blanket or maybe on a picnic table. So when we're eating outside, we bring our food. Okay, so a lot of people are out doing all these fun activities outdoors.
Exactly, and so forth here just means etc., etc. They're doing things like that, other related activities. And Max says, that makes sense. That is logical because the weather is a great time. Or when the weather is nice, it's a great time for people to go outside and enjoy certain outdoor activities. He goes on to say, spring is the perfect time for outdoor activities like that. So yes, during the winter, we're kind of stuck at home because the temperatures are pretty low and it's raining a lot. Or, of course, if you live in Canada, it's going to be snowing a lot. So it's kind of difficult to go outside and enjoy things unless you like snowshoeing or cross-country skiing or something like that. But still, it's a great time in the spring to enjoy these kinds of activities, to have a picnic, to ride bicycles, to play frisbee, to play with your dog or whatever. And Lana says, indeed, absolutely, 100%. It was nice to see families out enjoying themselves together.
Right, because everybody, they get stuck indoors during the winter time. It's really nice to see people getting outdoors, going outside, and doing fun activities together, especially to see families spending quality time together in the spring. It's always a nice sight to see children laughing with their parents. And Max replies, well, speaking of picnics, since Lana mentioned people having picnics earlier on, speaking of picnics, how about we plan one ourselves? We could make a day of it. So he's quite excited about what Lana mentioned before, people having picnics. So he's thinking that they should do one too. They should have their own picnic. So he asks her, why don't we plan one ourselves? How about we plan one ourselves? We could make a day of it. So when you're making a day of something, it means that you're suggesting that we could really have a good day together. Max thinks that if they go out on a picnic together with Lana, they could really have a nice day.
Right, it's just a way of saying we're going to have a great time. Specifically, they're going to do this as an all-day activity. They're not going to do different things during the day. It's all going to be centered around this particular picnic. They're going to go there in the morning. They'll be there in the afternoon, well into the evening, so they'll make a day of it. This will be an activity for the entire day, and everybody's going to have a great time. And Lana says, that's a fabulous idea. Here, the word fabulous just means great, wonderful, fantastic, etc. We have lots of words in English to describe something as being really great. And indeed, we do say that a lot. That's great, but if you say great so many times, it starts to sound boring, so we have to use other words. which all basically mean the same thing. Great, fantastic, wonderful, out of sight, really wonderful, really fabulous. So she says that's a fabulous idea. And she goes on to say, it'd be a great way to take advantage of this splendid weather.
Okay, so she says that this weather is splendid. Again, when something is splendid, it is to describe something being wonderful or great or very nice. So this weather is splendid. This weather is so nice. We really want to take this opportunity or take advantage of this splendid weather. And she asks, when were you thinking? So when do you want to do this picnic?
Right, splendid. This weather is splendid. And yeah, when were you thinking of having this activity? Max answers Lana's question, how about this Saturday? Okay, that's a weekend day. It's a good time to get together for such an activity. And he goes on to say, the forecast says the weather should be great then, too. A forecast here is referring to the weather forecast. You can listen to the weather forecaster on the radio or see them online or on TV or whatever, and these people can tell you what the weather's going to be like or what it's probably going to be like. A lot of people say that weather forecasters are wrong, but I think they're usually right most of the time. I would say they're correct maybe 80 or 90% of the time. So it's a good idea, and there's a strong likelihood that the weather will be great on this Saturday. So that's what the forecast says. Forecast here is being used as a noun, but you could also use it as a verb to forecast, which means to try to predict what's going to happen in the future.
Lana thinks that it sounds great because the weather's going to be great on Saturday. So she says, I'm in, so you can count me in. I want to go with you. We can grab some food, drinks, and a cozy picnic blanket and head to the park. So here we have the word cozy. When something's cozy, it's something that is very comfortable and it makes you think of warm and fuzzies. So usually we think of cozy being something that you want to do on a nice day, or if it's cold outside during the winter, you want to stay indoors in front of a cozy, warm fireplace. So cozy is also something that makes you feel comfortable.
Exactly. So they're going to have a great time, and Max is looking forward to that. He says, great, I'm looking forward to it already. Okay, let's move on now to part 2. Setting up a delightful picnic. This is where they're actually getting ready for the picnic. Let's listen to their conversation now.
Setting up a delightful picnic. After settling on having a picnic, Lana and Max set about planning all the details. So, for the picnic, I'm thinking of making some homemade desserts. How does that sound?
Oh, I'll be first in line for those. Meanwhile, I can take charge of the beverages. I'll get some refreshing drinks like sodas and lemonade, okay?
Sure, some drinks would go great with some salty snacks or those desserts.
Definitely. And you know, this picnic could be even more enjoyable if we invite a few friends. Sound like a plan?
You took the words right out of my mouth. The more the merrier, right? Maybe we could invite Travis and Cindy to join us. They're generally up for outdoor activities, so they might really enjoy a day at the park.
Exactly. And since Connor often goes on picnics with his family, perhaps he'd like to join us. He could even give us some advice.
Yeah, and we could also ask whoever wants to come to bring a dish. That way we can have a feast with a variety of different flavors.
Sounds great. Everyone can contribute something they love and make this picnic even more diverse and fun.
第二部分我们看到 refreshing， 它是形容词，表示清凉提神的，令人神清气爽的，也可以是令人耳目一新的。例如There's nothing more refreshing on a hot day than a cold glass of lemonade. 没有什么比在热天来一杯冰凉的柠檬水更令人感到凉爽的。再举一个例子 Josh's new job was a refreshing change from his previous post. Josh 的新工作与他之前的职务相比是个令人耳目一新的改变。再来看到名词 feast， 它的意思是盛宴、飨宴或是宴席。例如The people in the village celebrated the autumn harvest with a large feast. 那个村里的人们举办盛大宴席来庆祝秋天的收成。或是 The music festival offered a feast for the ears and was free to everyone in the city. 这场音乐季提供了听觉上的飨宴，城里的每个人皆可免费参加。最后看到单字 contribute， 这个动词指的是为点点点做出贡献、奉献或是捐献。例如 Ed contributed to his country by joining the army. Ed 以从军来为国家做出贡献。再看一个例子 Teresa contributed money to a local charity for abandoned animals. Teresa 捐钱给一个照顾弃养动物的地方慈善机构。
So after settling on having a picnic, or after they've decided that they will go on a picnic, Lana and Max, they set about planning all the details. So now that you've decided that you want to go on a picnic, you need to decide all these details, like what you're going to bring, what kinds of food and drinks you'll have, and where you want to go. So in our title here, we have setting up a delightful picnic. When something is delightful, it is something that is very nice and enjoyable, and usually it is to imply that it will be very luxurious or very cozy even. So they want to have a nice picnic. They want to have a delightful picnic.
Right, so sometimes if you go to a flower garden, it can be quite delightful. You can have a really wonderful time there. And they're getting ready for this picnic. They're setting it up. And here they're settling on having a picnic, which means they've decided where they're going to have it, and they've decided to actually have the picnic. And maybe they've decided on whom to invite. Lana and Max set about planning all the details. So, yes, set up means to establish something or to get things ready. To set about just means to start doing something. So they start planning all the details of the picnic, and Lana begins the conversation. So, for the picnic, I'm thinking of making some homemade desserts. That's what she wants to do for the picnic. She wants to make some desserts that she's made herself. She's not going to go to the bakery and buy them. Desserts would be like pie and cake and pastries and things like that. But she wants to make them herself. They will be homemade desserts. How does that sound? What do you think of that idea?
Well, Max thinks it's a great idea. He replies, "Oh, I'll be first in line for those. I will be the first one to line up to have your homemade desserts." So when you say that you will be first in line for something, obviously, it is that you want to be the first one to be able to have a chance to get something because you want to be the first person to line up for something. In this case, Lana might be very good at making desserts, so Max knows that, so he's very excited for it. So he wants to be the first one to have a bite of whatever she makes. And he continues to say, "Meanwhile, I can take charge of the beverages. I'll get some refreshing drinks like sodas and lemonade, okay?" So he knows that Lana, she's going to prepare some homemade desserts. He says that he will take charge. So he will be in charge or be responsible for preparing beverages. Now, what a beverage is basically another word to say drinks. Okay, so he wants to prepare drinks for the picnic. And usually a beverage, it is to describe a variety of drinks that might be available. So he will provide some different drinks. He'll get some refreshing drinks like sodas and lemonade.
Yep, if something's refreshing, it makes you feel alive and active. For example, if you go to the mountains, it can be quite a refreshing experience. It's new, it's interesting, it makes you feel alive. And here, of course, they're going to be going to the park for a picnic. It might be quite hot outside, so if you bring along some drinks like sodas and lemonade, they will be quite refreshing. If you have some activity, playing frisbee or whatever, then you might have a drink and feel refreshed. And you'll feel as good as new. And he's going to be doing this while she is preparing her homemade desserts. And Lana says, "Sure, that's okay. Some drinks would go great with some salty snacks or those desserts. So something goes great with something. They match well together. So if you have a dessert, it might be a good idea to have some sort of drink with it. Like if you have afternoon tea, for example, scones and English tea go well together. They go great together. They taste great when you're having them at the same time.
Max says definitely. And you know, this picnic could be even more enjoyable if we invite a few friends. Sound like a plan? So he thinks definitely, for sure, he agrees that those drinks will go very well with the snacks and the desserts. So he agrees. Definitely is to be very sure of something, or you agree entirely with somebody. And he's suggesting that it would be more fun if they invited a few friends. And then he asks, sound like a plan? Would you agree with that, or are you okay with that? And what does Lana say?
She likes that idea. She says, you took the words right out of my mouth, which means I really like your suggestion. I totally agree with that. You're thinking the same as I am. The more, the merrier, right? Which means if you have more people, you have more fun. And maybe we could invite Travis and Cindy to join us. They're generally, or they're usually, up for outdoor activities. If you're up for something, you're ready for that, you're willing to participate, you're excited about it. So they might really enjoy a day at the park. And Max says, exactly. And since Connor often goes on picnics with his family, perhaps he'd like to join us as well. He could even give us some advice. So they're certainly thinking about lots of other people to invite to their picnic party.
Especially people that already go on picnics. And they could even get some advice from Connor because he goes on picnics a lot. So they could get some help from him. Lana says, yeah. And we could also ask whoever wants to come to bring a dish. So if they invite somebody, they can ask everyone to bring something of their own. Usually we call this a potluck when each person that arrives to the party, they will bring their own dish. And she continues to say, that way we can have a feast with a variety of different flavors. So when you have a feast, it is to have a big meal with lots of different choices at the table. So there's lots of salty foods, lots of sweet foods. There's a lot of different flavors, or a variety of flavors that everyone can eat.
Yep, a feast, of course, is a big meal where you all get together to celebrate something. So indeed, they'll have a lot of people eating a lot of different kinds of food. Max says, sounds great. Everyone can contribute something they love and make this picnic even more diverse and fun. So if you contribute, that just means you add to something. You make your contribution. So again, everybody's bringing a dish, and they'll all be different so people can enjoy different kinds of food. And, of course, it will be quite diverse, which means it will have a lot of variety, lots of different kind of food, lots of different kind of people, and indeed, they're sure to have a great time. We're sure to have a great time by listening now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在课文第一部分的对话里， Lana 说她周日去河滨公园散步，看到相当多人在野餐啊、骑自行车等等。那么 Max 说 Well, speaking of picnics, how about we plan one ourselves? 说到野餐，我们何不自己计划一次呢？那 speaking of 这个片语介系词是用来引出跟前文相关的其他话题，表达提到什么什么，说到什么什么。那后面要接名词或动名词。假设朋友聊到食物，那你刚好肚子饿，想去吃点东西，这时候就可以说 Speaking of food, I'm getting hungry. Let's go grab a bite. 说到食物，我肚子饿了，我们去吃点东西吧。好，那么对话里面的 Lana 认为那是一个非常棒的点子，是利用这美好天气的好方法。那他这边用到 take advantage of 来表达利用，我们就来整理一下 take advantage of 的不同意思。Advantage 这个名词它可以表达优势优点，那么片语 take advantage of 可以表达出正面及负面的语义。我们用事物当受词的时候， take advantage of something 表示善用利用某事物，或者是趁着什么什么的机会。举例来说， They took advantage of the nice weather and went for a walk. 他们趁着好天气去散散步。那如果是以人当受词，Take advantage of somebody 则表示故意利用某人的弱点，占某人便宜。那这时候就会带有负面语义咯。例如 You should never take advantage of others 你绝对不该占别人便宜。好，那补充一下，其实也可以用 take advantage of somebody's good nature 或者是 take advantage of somebody's generosity 等等，去表达说利用某人的善良本性啊，利用某人的慷慨去占人家便宜。所以这时候后面的受词会是用事物哦。好，再看到课文第二部分的对话里， Lana 想到可以邀请 Travis 和 Cindy 加入他们，那他就说They're generally up for outdoor activities. 他们通常喜欢户外活动。那在口语当中 up for 可以表达想要、愿意做，或者是对什么什么跃跃欲试。它的用法是 be up for 再加上名词或动名词。举例来说 We're going shopping tomorrow. Are you up for it? 就是说我们明天要去逛街，你想一起去吗？另外，如果是用 somebody or something is up for 再加名词，则表示某人或某事正被考虑怎么样，或是计划要怎么样。这是用来表达将某人或某事物纳入考量，尤其是达成某种决定的过程。例如 The proposal is up for consideration. 这个提案正被纳入考虑中。好，那么以上就是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Fabulous.Margot had a fabulous time at the concert with her friends. Splendid. When its flowers bloom in the spring, the garden is a splendid sight. Forecast. According to the weather forecast, we can expect heavy rain tomorrow. Delightful. The children's laughter made the birthday party a delightful experience for everyone there. Definitely. Melinda just called to confirm that she can definitely meet with us on Tuesday.Feast. The family's holiday feast included a variety of delicious dishes. Contribute. Ross has contributed some really great ideas to the project. Diverse. The festival presented a diverse range of musical styles, from jazz to country to rock.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Kiki.
I am Roger.
See you next time.